As we approach the 2018 and the 2020 election, I'd like to communicate 7 different ways in which I believe that votes are not fully represented and are being diluted. Number 1 deals with gerrymandering, and it's the fact that different political parties are taking advantage of where people live and utilizing it for their capitalistic gains, their legislative measures. The name actually comes from controlling voting to the point that it actually looked like a salamander. Number 2, corruption and voter suppression. It is a true shame how different politicians are doing whatever they can to stop average Americans from voting and representing our country. Number 3, just the way the Electoral College works, in the sense that the popular vote isn't the way that we deem who wins or loses. The fact that millions of votes and billions of people's thoughts and respect and love for a candidate is sometimes not even represented if their state loses by a certain percentage of votes. Number 4 goes to security, and it goes to a complete voter process reform. A lot of these different systems are running on Windows 98, Windows 95. This should be a simple process, an encrypted app, anybody able to make their specific vote. If you don't have a phone, you can go down to a UPS store or something of that nature, but it needs to be in an encrypted, simple way that every American has the ability to vote. Number 5 deals with having another superpower completely violate our democracy. It's happened in the past. It's growing. It's going to happen in the future, which leads us into 6, which is the cost of corruption. It's very simple. People can donate a couple $1,000s here to have a legislative mean. And we've seen in the cybersecurity world how easily different spies, for $10,000, $15,000, our data is being stolen. Our democracy is at risk. And then if you look on the legislative fashion, the cost of corruption is only a tad more. There was a case recently in which a bill that allowed Americans to understand when their data was being sold and when it wasn't, based upon browser history. And just for $1,300,000, that was overturned. Obviously, the largest provider of that was Comcast with over $320,000. But think about that. That's a very small amount for the fact that Americans have no clue when their privacy is being violated, no clue in which their browser history, their data, the way that they interact with the online world is being monetized. This is just another example of how cheap it is to corrupt within America. And it bothers me deeply. Number 7 deals with how an incumbent has such an advantage in an electoral process. If you look at the last 5 times since 1900 that a Republican incumbent went against a Democrat that had any type of congressional background, bloodline, it didn't work out so well. Democrats lost in 1900, McKinley. 24 lost to Calvin Coolidge. 72 got worked over by Nixon. Lost 520 to 17 on the Electoral College vote. If you look at one person that is so similar in history to Trump, it is Nixon, right? 1984 and 2004. 0 for 5 Democrats went against a Republican incumbent with some type of congressional background. There's a reason for this. 7 reasons in which I believe Americans' votes are diluted or not being represented by the current fashion of the Electoral College. Hart Cunningham, 2020. God bless.